We just went live a little while ago, so now we are live again, and this time with the map maker. How are you, Dylan?
Hello, I'm doing very well. Thanks for having me back. It's good to see you again.
Very good. I know it's been a little while, and we've tried to get you on, and between what was going on with a kid and your schedule, it was just really hard. It was like two ships passing in the night.
Yeah, it can be like that, but I'm so glad kid's out of the hospital and doing better on the right meds to make a miraculous recovery.
Did we tell you that he also went for his first IV ozone treatment on Friday?
No, that's major.
Yeah, so you're familiar with it.
I am. Yeah, the ozone is supposed to be one of the most powerful treatments for anything viral or cancer. It's covers all bases pretty much.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And at ASEA you have in the background works on some of the same principles, oxidation reduction.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it actually ignites the mitochondria inside the cell, and that's the basis of our whole life, is that mitochondria. So
And how did he feel after it?
his energy about 12 hours later just skyrocketed to 80%. And he was sitting up almost the whole day the next day, and that's unusual. He's always like laying down because everything just hurt, and his lungs just wouldn't allow him to do a whole lot of exercise. And he's just continuing to improve so fast. That's amazing. We're gonna bring him in for more treatments for sure.
That's awesome. Yeah, ozone has always, from what my research, and I've done a lot of research, it's always seemed like one of the most powerful treatments out there. But it's hard to find places that do it, even though, it should be very cheap and free. It should be in every hospital, to be honest. But they have done a very good job of keeping these things off the radar for the normies.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we were fortunate to find someone who does it here.
That's awesome. And I see you got your Numi NutraSwish in the background.
Yeah.
Have you been trying that along with the
Yes.
ASEA?
Yes. Um, I noticed. I mean, it's like 10 shots of coffee. It just energized me that much.
Whoa.
Yes. And I have been going great guns. I mean, and the the amount of energy has just seen me through and helped me to not feel so overwhelmed as also. And then with the Asaya, just such an incredible pair between the two of them. I would say
That
that.
sounds amazing. Yeah, I was this close to ordering after I watched your interview with Ethan Lucas, where I first heard about that product. And I just got to the point where I was like, how many different drinks am I going to be taking? But it does sound like a good combination. I'm still doing the ASEA, still loving the ASEA and the Renew 28 topical ASEA gel.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, we've been connected with some good companies, I think, to really help us through this, rough patch, this rocky period before we really get, while we're under attack from the cabal for one thing. Well, I don't know, that's not a YouTube word, but but to make it through, because we all need a little bit of extra support at this time, and we don't know if the food is poison, the air is poison. I'm in Ohio too, so we just went through a phase of not knowing if our city tap water had chemicals in it.
Oh my
And most people
goodness.
have forgotten about that by now, including myself. I never drink the tap water, but we were all here pretty nervous for about a week, about 2 weeks after the East Palestine train derailment.
It
But most people have sort of let that go into the background for now, other than the people in East Palestine.
so it even affect where you are.
Well, it was more just like a precautionary measure because there was said to be a plume of toxins coming down the Ohio River, which would have been significantly diluted and evaporated or denatured by the time it got here, but some people were still a little bit precautious.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Wow. I'm so
And
glad you're okay from that.
I just found out, I think yesterday, that our governor, Mike DeWine, who made the executive decision to do that burn off, which created the huge black mushroom cloud, he has been wearing a boot since around that time period. And as you may know, the boot, ever since 2017-18, has been said to be an indication of an ankle monitor from the good guys, an indication of arrest in some manner, or being on a leash, being put on a leash. And so the official story is that he injured his ankle leaving a church that was being used as a triage center around that East Palestine area. But it's just too convenient that he does this crime against humanity, is what it was, burning that off instead of responsibly pumping it into a truck and disposing of it safely somewhere. That immediately after that he has a boot, so that's an indication of something.
That's an indication that someone was naughty.
Yeah, his wings have been clipped, let's put it that way. I think this will be his last term as governor. And when I went to my last DJT rally right before the 2022 election, which his last one was in Ohio, in Dayton, when our governor came on stage with his lieutenant governor, he was booed off stage. It was so embarrassing to watch for him. And it was just like, everyone else that DJT presented was warmly welcomed, because it's people that he has endorsed, but not this governor. Despite the fact that DJT was endorsing him, the crowd was not having it, and so he must be even less popular now.
And right,
so there's definitely some.
I'm sorry, go ahead.
I was just going to say there's definitely some big shifts in politics coming, and all the rhinos their time is ticking, running out. It's a good sign.
Very good sign. Yeah. So, what's our schedule today? I mean, we've got so much to talk about. We also wanted to do light language with each other for our families.
That would be fun, yeah.
Right? So, how do we want to go about this? When do we want to do what?
I say let's just let it flow. I have a ton of notes. I'm going to once again share some of my downloads with you. It's all about high vibes up here. So I think some of my downloads are the best advice I have for humanity at this time. But then there's also a lot of really exciting news happening at the same time. And so I want to save. I actually went in the pyramid last night and got a download specifically for this call, which I think I might want to read a little bit more towards the end, because it might make reference to a few of these news points that if people aren't aware of them before, they might not understand what the download is referencing.
Okay. And while you do that, I'm going to share so more people know that we're live with you.
Okay, nice. Well, maybe just to touch on a few of the news items first before we go into the downloads, which might reference them. The big thing this week that everyone has their eyes on is this banking collapse, right? Have you heard about the SVB?
Mm-hmm.
That's a little even closer to your region. Funnily, I didn't even see this on the mainstream media, from Friday through Saturday. I think I was informed of it kind of by someone bringing my attention to it on Sunday, which, usually for a big story like that, I find out about it a little bit earlier. But I think more people have found out about it this week, but they were kind of not making that big of a deal of it when this first happened. And, since I've been doing a little more research, let's see, I'm going to be careful with my words here because we are on YouTube, but apparently that bank was banking with an Israeli intelligence agency. I don't think we should say the name of it, but the main one that starts with an M. And that, they were working with a lot of different Israeli, or actually, I heard that the actual software of that bank was somewhat controlled by an Israeli defense contractor. And that bank was completely all wrapped up in what you would call like the woke agenda, the ESG scoring green agenda. It's basically like a liberal haven bank, just completely behind all these globalist policies. And so while, we in the truth community and the anti-NWO community might want to celebrate the collapse of this bank, it seems that they were pretty much well prepared for it, with the CEO had sold 3 million stock options right before the crash. And apparently I've also heard they were giving out some big bonuses within their company right before this crash. And so, while we might want to celebrate a cabal institution going down, it seems like the cabal, has planned to profit off of this somehow, and that now part of it's being bought by HSBC, which is one of the 4 biggest banks. And this might be a move to sort of consolidate things the way the cabal loves to do, just build things into bigger and bigger monopolies and have the bigger banks buy the smaller banks, which is, ultimately leading to this NWO, one world bank, one world digital currency. So that's not necessarily a good thing, but at the same time, I have also heard from several different sources that all 4 of those main banks are essentially bankrupt as well. And so I'm not even sure, what's keeping them afloat. But if there was a bank run on any of these banks, they don't have enough money to dish out to people. Those 4 main ones being Wells Fargo, Bank of America, JP Morgan, and Chase. So make sure you're not banking with those 4, I would say. I got out of Chase 3 years ago after my first website with Shopify got shut down. And I never had a problem with them, but it was kind of a preemptive move that just, if the cabal is instituting cancel culture on anyone that's against their agenda, trying to have a successful business, Chase Bank is not the one to be banking with. And so I'm now with more like regional. I have a personal account with a regional credit union and my business account with a regional bank. And so, yeah, people, the time was even before now to get your money in the right places in terms of banks. But now even more so, I would say, to be aware if you're banking with how deep state your bank actually is, because some of them are more deepy than others.
Well, we were in the process of moving to a smaller bank, but that was only for California, and so we closed that down, and hadn't gotten back to that, and so we're still banking with Chase.
Oops.
Yeah.
I will get out of there. But as much as people say that these 4 big ones are bankrupt, I'm not sure when that bubble's going to burst. It could definitely be still a little bit while longer, if it ever does. I mean, I'm hoping it does eventually, because these big mega banks are, some of the worst parts of the cabal. I remember a couple of years ago when Chase Bank was caught with one of their a freight ship that they owned was caught with like millions of tons of cocaine on it. So clearly they're involved, they're facilitating drug trafficking, and it's like a slap on the wrist when something like that happens. So they don't have to worry about going down because of a scandal like that, because they're all tied in with the regulators, plus they're too big to fail. But it's just not a good look. We want to be putting our money in patriotic institutions, hopefully.
So how does one, including myself, find a patriotic institution where we live, local to us?
Well, I don't know if I can vouch for, smaller banks being patriotic, but what I've heard a lot of people say is that find a bank that's only represented in 3 states or so. Now, I think mine might be more like 5 or 6 states, but just a bank that has, fewer states where it has branches. Of course, I would say like even though it may be a smaller bank, there is, hints of, it's really hard to not use the C word or the DS word, hints of the dark forces in every bank, I mean, even my bank has a big building downtown. My bank has a big skyscraper downtown right next to the lodge downtown, the M Lodge. And so, I mean, they're all tied in with it, but just the smaller ones are better. And, everyone's wondering where to invest. Of course, it's a good idea to invest in silver and gold at this time. And the cryptos, the ISO coins, as you may know, I created a map last year in 2022 called the Jasara map. If you give me 1 second, let me grab my folder. I don't have my things to hold up here. 1 second.
Sure. So I just shared this on Telegram and my Facebook. You can find my Facebook at Candy Kelly, and that's Candi. Oh, we sure love having the map maker on with us today. Incredible, incredible man.
So this was the main map I put out last year, and actually I made this one a free download because this one's all about prosperity, the financial reset that's coming. And a small part of this is about the crash. I don't know if you can see that. It says the crash right there, which this is not necessarily a chronological map, but the big crash precedes all of this. And so, I've been telling people to get these ISO 20022 coins as the cryptos that the truth community says is going to be the future ones to rise, and that other coins such as Bitcoin, Ethereum are the ones that the cabal controls that are facilitating a lot of nefarious activity such as drug trade, human trafficking. So those, out of the 5,000 or so cryptos in existence and more being created every day, we do expect the majority of those to go to zero eventually and fade into obscurity. And for those main ones, XRP, XLM, Algo, to be the future ones, along with possibly CBDCs. But XRP is a technology backing the CBDCs. So if the government institutes CBDCs, there will still always be XRP in the background. And you can learn a lot about that on channels like Whiplash on Telegram and QSI, Quantum Stellar Initiative, which I'm actually pretty good friends with, Emily Tang, who runs that outlet. And she is just a powerhouse of information. You've seen Emily Tang, right?
I don't know that I have.
From Quantum Stellar Initiative. She's a machine of information about cryptocurrency, way more advanced than I am in the Lobster wallet.
Oh, that's wonderful.
But everything that's been coming out recently just basically is confirming the direction that this was looking like. And so the one other really important news item I want to mention before we get into some of these downloads was DJT's big announcement on 3/3, which came in the form of one of these campaign platform video addresses that he published on his Truth Social page, and it may be published on Rumble by now, but he was announcing something that he's calling Freedom Cities, saying he was going to build 10 new cities and have all this investment in technology. There's going to be a quantum leap in the American standard of living, which everything he was talking about in that address sounded exactly like what I would call the late stages of this plan. So it's like the kickoff of this Jasara plan is the crash, which is what we're starting to see the beginning of now with these bank failures and bank consolidations, which they can consolidate all they want, but it's ultimately the biggest ones are going to fail too. And so this, consolidating up to the top is not going to help them in the end. And so that's what happens first. And then to remedy that is when they roll out this new quantum financial system, when we expect coins like XRP and Algorand and XLM to skyrocket. So that's kind of like the midterm of the plan. And then the late term of the plan is the rollout of a lot of technologies that are currently secret because of national security, the release of 6,000 suppressed technology patents, including free energy, med beds, anti-gravity, and further down the line, replicators and teleportation. And now also in that 3/3 address that Trump made, he was talking about vertical takeoff and landing vehicles, which, that could be interpreted as passenger drone type vehicles, helicopter type vehicles, or if there is a disclosure of anti-gravity technology, we could have vertical takeoff and landing vehicles using a whole different paradigm of propulsion system. So I mean, that address, I was just like, woo, so excited to hear him talk about that stuff. And the quantum leap, just using the word quantum is a major hint because, he's the one, while in office, this is all what this sort of bottom left corner of this map is about, all the quantum development that happened while he was in office, including creating like the quantum coordination office and creating the National Quantum Initiative Advisory Committee. And so he made it a point that America is going to be at the cutting edge of quantum computing, quantum technology, A little bit later in this plan also, they say there's going to be a quantum internet come online. And so just it's so many articles and things coming out in the media now that is confirming that it looks like this is the plan, the narrative that's playing out. And we're seeing both the early stages of that plan happening as well as announcements of much later stages of that plan happening. And I guess what I haven't seen quite as much of is talk about the middle stage of that plan, which is the financial restructuring. But maybe they're keeping that one sort of like under the wraps because the idea is that the rollout of that quantum system will be the solution to the big banking crash that's coming. And Trump has made even more recent tweets saying that we're going to be going into the Great Depression 2.0. I think some of that is hyped up a little bit because the collapse of the old banking system has to be pinned on the Biden administration. He can't take the blame for that, just optics wise. And so he's going to pin all the blame for the collapse on that. And then he's going to be like the one on the white horse to come in and say, we have this new financial system that's ready to go. So it's very exciting for the truth community and confirmation, that it seemed like all the research we've done and everything we've been telling people to prepare for seems to be like we've been accurate. Once again, it's the year of the I was right. Not that we want to rub it in people's faces, but...
Oh, yes, we do. Not really. Okay.
So yeah, by the way, this is my Jasara map I've been holding up, which we have this as laminations or big posters. This was the big one from 2022. And so that one is just getting more and more confirmation that it was over the target.
That's amazing.
I haven't had to make any adjustments on it to be like, oop, I was wrong about that, got to adjust it. I mean, we got the alliance in the middle there with Trump, Modi, Z, Putin, and Bolsonaro, which obviously Bolsonaro has had a little bit, or he's actually not on that picture, but he is supposed to be part of the alliance. Bolsonaro is having a little bit of a difficulty with Brazil, the same difficulty that Trump is having in terms of a stolen thing. A stolen thing where people vote. But I think the plan seems like it's very much proceeding according to the White Hat plan, of course, with a few little hiccups along the way. These desperate moves by the dark forces doing things like train derailments, which is happening in a lot of different countries now, and other types of just sabotage operations is what you call them. But we just got to keep our vibes high and weather the storm.
Mm-hmm. Right. Go ahead and keep going. I'm just sharing your information for Asaya.
Okay, cool. Well, that was pretty much the news items that I wanted to bring people up to speed on before we get into some of the downloads, which are on significantly different topics, but just wanted to make sure everyone was up to speed on those things, because it's like a lot of the matrix seems to be falling apart. And I also wanted to mention to your audience, last time I was on your show, I shared the preliminary version of my newest map, which was the World Hierarchy Pyramid. You might remember.
Mm-hmm. I remember.
And since that show, I have finished the map, and we've been, developing out different formats that where we're offering it as like this version, the lamination or the small print, and then we have the mini poster and we have the big poster as well. And so that has been like a big project of getting all those in. And the first set, I ordered 1,000 of the big posters because some people are saying this is my best map yet. It's definitely one of the most visually appealing maps because it's almost like a landscape in addition to all the information on it. And the first set of posters came in a little bit dark, and I made like a complaint to the printer, and they ended up doing a complete reprint of the entire 1,000. So now I have 2,000.
Wow.
And in the intervening time, my eye kind of adjusted to the first printing, whereas it's like not that bad, it's just like a little bit darker. I'm kind of a perfectionist if you haven't noticed. And so now we have 2,000 of them, and so we are fully stocked. And I'm excited to see where that map goes, because it's really explaining to people, who's been in control. And of course, this is a system that's in the process of imploding. We're going to get rid of all these, matrix controllers and basically reconnect right back up to the source. It's going to be like Source, the Archangels, Galactic Federation, And I'm not sure what the title of the person, like, in charge of Earth will be, but it's going to be like a benevolent, I don't even want to use the word ruler, but like leader that's connected with the highest of high, potentially Christ returning, which is actually kind of part of one of my downloads I'm going to be reading, but some kind of like not that I'm waiting or wanting a savior of humanity, but I do believe that in the natural hierarchy, there should be a leader of humanity that is connected with the Most High and endorsed by the Most High. And so we're moving away from this system of controllers that was all funneled up to Satan, which is even what the Bible says is the ruler of this world. And so we're getting rid of all of his minions and going around that and reconnecting back up. So we're going to have to basically redo the whole hierarchy within 5 years here, because we're transitioning from this old horrible system of slave drivers that's been in place for 5,000 years, and we're going to have a new system that's, I would say, even from stuff I've learned more recently, is going to be more kind of like a family unit where the leaders actually care about the people under them, not just care about staying above them. But any group needs a leader, or else it's just complete chaos. And so in a way, hierarchical structures are beneficial in terms of organization and getting things done. But we want to have leaders that the people actually love and who love them back, and are more like a comforting, benevolent guardian, as opposed to a fascist, totalitarian dictator.
Absolutely. Wow, that is, we're all looking forward to that after everything that we've woken up to and become aware of and have been going through and experiencing. We're all looking forward to the love and the connection, and the peace, the high frequency, the energy, and let's not ever revisit that again, the old stuff.
Not for at least 1,000 years. And hopefully we can maintain it longer than that. But, part of this might be related to what they call the Yuga cycle, and the cycle of our solar system going through and out of more and less dense energetic areas of intergalactic space, or the galactic plane. I don't like to think about it like that, just it's only improving here because we're passing through like the center of the galactic plane, and so there's more light energy coming to the planet. But that is a possibility that, as we go through the center of the galactic plane, things improve, people are happier, life is better, technology is flourishing. Whereas when we're going back into the darkness of intergalactic space, we get invaded by these fringe species such as reptilians, Draco Anunnaki, Draco Orion, that are slave drivers. And so to a degree that might be unavoidable, but hey, maybe as the Earth is leaving the galactic central plane, maybe we then transfer to another planet that is entering the galactic central plane, or build a man-made planet or a man-made space station that will stay in that good zone. Who knows? Or something like Revelations, where the souls that are meant to stay in the good zone, that want to stay in the good zone, are transferred or removed from the planet and put somewhere where they can exist in harmony. Whereas the ones who are, for whatever reason, on their soul path desiring to go back into darkness and despair, they get to do that as well. The splitting of the planet. A lot of people have said the planet is actually splitting in terms of dimensions or realities for the different people who are on different paths of either ascension or descension, and that we're coexisting with them now, but as time goes by, we'll be less and less in a coexistence and more in separate existences, however that works.
I've been seeing like a lot of shadow animals. And I'll turn and look, and of course nothing's there, but my spirit is picking it up. And I could tell they are like the size of a cat or the size of a raccoon. I've seen one that's larger. I've seen one that is a large, like, spider type of thing. so I can see the shape of them without the detail. It's like I see the shadow of it, and you can tell a spider by all the legs, right? So this shape had legs, and I would imagine it's very similar to what you're describing. That when we split, there is an ability to still see, should you want to. But there's enough of a frequency difference where you don't. And that's what I'm talking about is those that have ascended can see the lower dimensions should they want to. Not necessarily the other way around until those are ready for ascension too.
I have gotten a very similar download to that. Yeah, that from the higher dimensions, you can look down to the lower dimensions, but from the lower dimensions, not as easy to look up to the higher ones. And I think in this ascension, great awakening process, we're all going to be discovering more intuitive, psychic, telekinetic type abilities. And the more you focus on developing those abilities, the faster you'll improve at them as well. And Candy's obviously pretty far along herself with the help of Asia and a NutraSwish as well.
It's an amazing couple right there.
Yeah.
It's like if those two could marry.
And I just bought my second box of the ASEA Cell Performance, the powders.
How you like those?
I buy the 3-pack, the combination of mood, energy, and mind. And I like the taste a lot, but I try to sometimes limit the number of sweet beverages I have in the day, and try to keep. I thrive on the lemon juice. That's my go-to for years and years and years of augmenting my water with a little bit of lemon juice so that it has that somewhat sweet satisfaction, but there's not actually any sugar, and there's other benefits to lemon juice as well. But I do love those ASEA Performance Packs, and it's the second time I bought it, so obviously I liked it the first time. And it's kind of like a little bit of a guilty pleasure for me, even though it doesn't have sugar in it. If you program yourself to always crave like a super sweet, like stevia taste, there's going to be ramifications for that in terms of like craving dessert and other things. So I try to like limit that some, but I like them. I've liked all the products from ASEA.
Can you hold down the fort for a minute? I have to go check on Kid.
All right, go ahead.
Okay.
So guys, I want Candy to hear this, but I might read to you a couple of the downloads that I've been receiving that may tie into some to these current events, but some not so much. So on February 26th, I did a little personal journey and was walking on the riverfront in Cincinnati, just sort of doing an evaluation of normie world. I spend a lot of time here in my little bunker, and sometimes because my main occupation is working from home on my website, most of the time some of my only contact with the outer world is going to the grocery store. So sometimes I like to get out and see how people are doing. But I was out on the riverfront seeking guidance. I think anytime you use a plant medicine, it should be with the intention of either accomplishing something or seeking guidance, or just being open to the universe to give you an epiphany. I don't recommend using plant medicine to escape from anything or mask anything. So I was out here looking for downloads and thinking about, seeing what people were doing while they're out enjoying the riverfront, which, most of it was like being on their cell phones, and just asking my guides for wisdom. And this is what I got on that date. Every single substance you put into your body, from foods to medications, modifies the interface between you, your physical avatar, your consciousness, and your perception of the world. This applies to food and drugs as well as to technology, which further modify your perception of the physical world, as well as man-made digital worlds beyond cyberspace. The key is being conscious of the effects of these reality augmentation tools that you decide to interface with. Otherwise, the tools may end up using you. Why have we reached a point in culture where so many people feel compelled to post their entire lives to social media? Are we just feeding the AI beast system? Back in the day, people could just watch things with their own eyes, and that was good enough. Events happened once and only once for the audience present. You witnessed it, and God witnessed it. Now people think they have to post everything to Facebook so that Satan knows that it happened too. And most of the time, it's with the intent of making other people jealous and feeding their own egos. Most of what they post disappears within 24 hours anyways on apps such as Snapchat, TikTok, and Instagram stories, and hardly anyone even sees it. So what's really the point of it? That's called being enslaved to AI. Now, of course, others use their social media pages to share joy and inspirational content. It's all about how you use it. But always keep in mind that the algorithms are programmed to be a psychological and electromagnetic warfare against you. Thus is why I have deleted Instagram off of my phone. Meta is the worst of these big tech companies in terms of psychological warfare, trying to get in your mind, seeing ads that appear to have read your mind, and generating content that is degrading to your ascension and your consciousness as opposed to elevating. Oh, here comes Candy. Welcome back.
Thank you. He just got his wheelchair delivered.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
I don't imagine he'll need that very long.
I stand in agreement with that.
Well, I was reading my download I got on a little personal journey I did the other day I was walking the riverfront and just seeing like everyone on the riverfront was on their phones as opposed to like enjoying the scenery and like being there. And I was just getting downloads as a warning about overuse of things like Meta, Facebook, Instagram. And that comes up again in the download I'll read a little bit in a minute here that I got last night from the pyramid specifically for today. So my guys keep warning about that. They're like, I've deleted Instagram off my phone. That's what I just said. I still can log on through the website and like post something if I need to, but it's staying out of those scroll holes, just trying to be so much more conscious of controlling the technology and not letting the technology control you. Mm-hmm. Do you ever have a problem with that, Candy?
Hours pass before you realize, you watch those Facebook videos or you get onto, what do you call that, TikTok, and then an hour's gone and you're like, where the fuck did that hour go? Yeah. And I have been made aware and very conscious of the same thing that you were just told. I was with my husband and I picked up my phone and we were out to dinner. I picked up my phone and I started to scroll through it and I'm like, what the heck am I doing? And so I put it away and I sat there and I felt this discomfort, like, now what do I do? What do I say? We're so busy entertaining ourselves with these little apps and things and we've lost touch. And yeah, I have seen that in myself. The battle is real. We all need, what is that? We all need those AA meetings for these social media holes. And we're like, hi, my name is Candy. I've been off Facebook for a day.
Yeah, I've been trying to have like really strong discipline on myself this year. And even I think I said on our last show, one of my New Year's resolutions was like no more music. And it's not even like I'm forcing myself. It's like I was just like overloaded with the toxicity of mainstream music. And I still listen to some like meditative type music, and I've actually been more drawn to like really like I never liked oldies, the oldie channel, but I've been drawn to more like 1950s like vinyl type stuff. And to me, that's almost more like atmospheric music as opposed to like music. But that has the same type of earworms. It's just the early version of what we have now. But now the stuff has all these like dark messages and stuff. And in the 50s, it was more like happy music, but it still had some like pretty I don't say dark messages, but like I'm Mr. Lonely, like all like the happy song, some Bobby Vinton. But yeah, I've been pretty good about it, just not even tempted to really be drawn into music because knowing what we know from the truth movement that all these music industry and Hollywood is all tied in with the dark occultists, and there's probably so much subliminal stuff in there that's not good for your consciousness. And so I've been trying to embrace the silence. I've always loved the song Enjoy the Silence by Depeche Mode, but it's funny that's a song because it's like if you actually take the advice, like you probably wouldn't be listening to it, And sometimes it's about like getting comfortable in the silence and listening to your mind. And I don't know, how long we're almost at 4 o'clock, so it might be almost at an hour. Should I go into my download I got specifically for this episode?
Yeah, absolutely, if that's what you'd like to do. Do we want to keep this um, this show at a specific time? Do you have other things to do?
No, I don't. I don't. But I wanted to
Okay.
time this right. So maybe I could go through this download and then we could talk about it a little bit and then it's a wrap.
So before we get into that, um, let me remind you that if we can fit in our light language, that would be
Oh, the
great.
light language.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then there's some people who are talking about people committing suicide. And
Mm.
I just wanted to share that the friends that took us out of our sabbatical reached out the other day. And I was on the phone with all the medical stuff, and I texted her, I'm sorry, I can't answer you right now. I'm on the phone, but would you like me to call you back? And she said, yeah. I said, are you okay? And she says, no. Well, her husband committed suicide just the day before.
Mm.
And so we talked about it, and I had to walk her off the ledge that, it was her fault. It never is someone's fault. But that's the first place that people like to go. And I was really kind of taken back when the stars came through and said many people will decide to go like that because that's the only way they can make the jump. And I just sat with that. The pain comes to those who are left behind with the absence of the person we love, the personality, the energy of that person in that form. And so I want to hug each and every one of you who has lost someone like that. It is never, ever easy, but try to keep in mind to think in a more positive way and not allow the programs of, well, they're going to hell. Well, there's no salvation for them because they took their life. Mm-mm. I do not believe that. How about you, Dylan?
No, I don't believe that. They
So,
might go back into the reincarnation cycle, but I don't believe in eternal hell.
yeah, so allow yourself to grieve because grieving is a human process and we do have these physical bodies. So allow yourself to grieve and don't stop yourself from doing that. But then move on as you can and think positively.
Yeah, that's a download I had in my Orit B Codex. My channeling from 2019 was that, you may be feeling despair at this time, but there's no guarantee that suicide is even an exit point for this despair. If you could go back to being, a child at this day and age where you're subjected to 70 of these and, drag queen story hour and the education program again. And, so it's no guarantee you even get out of it. It's everything you've done so far in your life has put you in a better position to confront these problems head on, instead of being put back into the state of having your memory wiped and being completely defenseless. And so there's a little bit in this download I'm going to read that's talking about hope and, light at the end of the tunnel. So, and actually, if you want to plan to do some light language, there was a point in this kind of early on that I got some light language while I was getting this message. So maybe at that point we could break from the download and do some light language together.
Okay.
And we didn't talk about this. Some people have suggested we do light language at the same time, which I'm not sure if Zoom's noise cancellation features would even allow that. But I was thinking maybe like it's like you do a sentence and like I'll do a little sentence and we go back and forth a couple times.
Oh, that sounds beautiful. Okay.
We need to go in a studio together at some point and like lay down some verses.
Oh, I agree. I agree.
All right, well, should I start this message and then we can break for light language a little bit in?
Yes, please. Yes, yes, yes.
All right. So this was from last night. I did, a microdose of plant medicine, cannabis, and was in my pyramid once again. I still have the pyramid set up, which actually I'm in the process of turning the pyramid. You saw it the last time, it's like a 6-foot Nubian pyramid in my bedroom now that I put an armchair in. I'm in the process of turning it into an orgone chamber with orgonite. I wanted to put it at all 4 corners, but I think I'm going to start with it at like 3 corners and in the middle. And yeah, we'll see how that feels too. I already have 1 piece of orgonite in there, but it's going to be the orgonite pyramid eventually. And so I've gotten downloads too. I'm sitting in this pyramid for multiple purposes, for meditation and for healing. And so anything in a pyramid has more of a healing effect in there. And so a lot of different reasons to meditate in the pyramid. But this is the message I got last night in the meditation in the pyramid. 3/14/23. There are many messages to be found in these halls of Amenti that you seek. Align your chakras to receive this message. I do as commanded by my master. But who is my master? I am. I am that I am. In alignment with the highest benevolent force in the universe and all its allies. I am the sensei, I am the master, and at once the student on an endless path. Align me with the guidance, protection, and wisdom that will serve me on this journey. Go to thy place of peace and quiet thy mind. So at that point in the download was when I started getting the light language. So do you want to break into some light language with me?
Mm-hmm.
All right, I'll start it off and then we'll kind of like go back and forth a little bit. Does that sound okay?
Sounds exciting. Yes.
Om Nayangaya Yo Anjaya Danjo
Hallelujah Shayanakya. Shunaya Notoria Nashia Notoria Nisi.
Boya Danjoy and Dayagangawa Yimbayo Dindaya Dandaya Boya Dandayo Yimbaji Jinjo
hiun hutorianesio. La loriana henia siesorianikia.
No yamaga yamaya janjawaya indujuyandaya boya juyu yambaya gangaya yajanjaya yo.
Ola lianayana yanisi. Yesoro toriana. Shinaya no to kokyanyanayan mano. Yusoro toriani ashatotorini.
Bayandaya yamaya gangawi yandayo yambaya janjawi gangawi yandaya yandaya yo yambaya janjayo yambaya dandayo mambaya dangaya langawi yandayo.
Halalaria nora neani sia. Like Kokoria Nayan Soro. Shataya no Tora Tayania. Chinia Dania no.
All right, ended that with some dolphin language too.
That was beautiful.
That was great. Yeah, make a good combination. All right, but let's stay. That was great, but let's stay in the meditative mind and I'll continue reading this. I'm going to reread the last line again here. Go to thy place of peace and quiet thine mind. The outer world will become what you cultivate in thy inner kingdom. The systems of men will fall, and new and better ones will be built in their place. One day those systems will fall as well, and be improved upon again. We are at the end of the oil age and the dawn of the space age. What we manifest from here will affect many star systems, and indeed, beings from many star systems are and have been involved here already. No one can be fully prepared for the changes that we are about to witness. Maintaining hope is most critical at this time. For all outcomes lead to light at the end of the tunnel. In victory or in failure and death, both paths lead to light. And in death, one escapes the suffering of samsara. Therefore, there is no need for despair and much reason to live out our fullest integrity at every moment, to bask in the glory of the Almighty coming King, and to walk with the Father and the Mother, Gaia, to bring forth the creation and bring order to Matrix, in harmony with the other beings who dwell here with you, in celebration of the Aten. It was the Aten on the stage of the Oscars. Just to break from the download for a second, everyone's always looking for the symbolism in the Oscar ceremony, which happened the night before. Usually it's very Masonic symbolism. And if you look at the stage from the Oscars this year in 2023, it was clearly the symbol of Aten, which is the oldest Egyptian monotheistic god, oldest monotheistic religion that some say that all of our modern day monotheistic religions was based off of. And so that, may be interpreted as somewhat of an occult symbol, but from all my research, it would seem that Atenism was actually, in a good way, the first monotheistic conception of, the higher realms. And so it's interesting that that was the stage of the Oscars. The only ones who have anything to fear at this time are those ones who harbor lies. For the Great Awakening shall be the Great Revealing, Revelations. We have warned you well in advance. to alleviate the shock of what is to come. In the past few weeks, the pieces of the future puzzle have revealed themselves, plain as day for all to see. The 3-3 announcement of freedom cities. What is to become of the old cities? We advise against staying to find out. The pieces are in place. Do not feel rushed to be somewhere else that you might miss the event. You'll be part of whatever you were meant to be a part of. And hopefully be an asset and operative of the light, wherever that may be. Don't be distracted by Facebook. It is the devil, along with all the other machinations of hell, big tech, Hollywood, the bread and circus arena gladiator games, and the endless droning of commercials. Alcohol is the medicine of Satan. Maintain purity of spirit and vessel to walk the path of ascension, for that shall lighten your load. Unload the karmic baggage, and certainly do not accumulate any more. Chela, enough lessons for now. I release you to do the great work that you were sent here to do. Adonai. Gamma Q, which most of the time when I'm bringing through a message like this, I believe is coming from Ashtar Command, and that's who signed this one.
That's amazing.
So that's what I got.
Wow. Powerful. And
I thought so.
It's so needed at this time because we're at the precipice. We're at the line to cross over. We're right there. And so we need to be in a very conscious state, a very aware state of everything that is a distraction. And remember what Kid was sharing is that the matrix is here to distract you while the ascension is here to attract you.
I love that quote, yeah. And I can see if people don't know about this plan or don't, have faith in it, don't believe in it, don't believe that there have ever been any world leaders that had good intentions for humanity, I can see falling into despair. And, even if secretly they haven't had good intentions for humanity, we got to build this ourselves. And the sooner we align our consciousness to a higher timeline, a better way of living, the sooner we'll be able to manifest it. And, wallowing in the despair of the old system, which I believe is imploding anyway, is aligning yourself with, something that's going down. You're on the sinking ship, and so I can definitely see how people would lose faith. But if you do your research and really understand what's going on and understand the human potential and the potential of our civilization, there's so much to look forward to that you wouldn't want to miss it in the world.
So we're in the beginning stages. When do you think, this could be like stretched out for a while. We could be looking at months, years. Do you have any inkling as to when we're going to be moving into the middle of this phase?
Well, when the maestro said on November 15th that America's comeback starts now, I was hoping it would be all sort of like, I guess I wouldn't say downhill, but uphill in terms of things getting better, It's not going to be easy like going downhill, but, uphill in terms of improvement. And all these train derailments and, sabotage operations seem to be indicating that, it's going to be a little bit of a rocky upward climb. However, with the people who have taken over the House of Representatives and they're on these different committees, they're exposing things. It seems like this is going to be a year of a lot of things being revealed, a lot of lies from the past 4 or 5 years being revealed. And some people are saying there could be, some big takedowns before the summer or, during the summer. But of course, we're also on this precipice of potentially, World War. I would even call it World War V, to be honest, because there have been so many conflicts that just are never really officially declared. But some kind of a global confrontation between military forces, which I believe will be primarily confined to Ukraine and Eastern Europe. But there is a possibility of Russia going all the way to Berlin again. And so we have that to deal with, less in the USA to be concerned with about that, but there's always the potential of more serious sabotage operations here. And you also have to look at this astrologically, because I know astrologically, astrologers were seeing a huge, paradigm shifting shakeup in early 2020, which obviously did come about. And I think with the pandemic and all the lockdowns and a total turning our way of life on its head. And astrologically speaking, I think that they are seeing some tumultuous times all the way up until maybe 2025. And so be mentally prepared for that, But I think if DJT comes back into office in 24, which, obviously the election system is rigged, but he got in once before. And so it can be rigged by the forces of the light if it needs to be. If he comes back, there may be a year of, again, the final push of the DS resistance, shall we say, a little bit more and more intense of the way it was his first 4 years, where he could barely get anything done because it was basically just, whack-a-mole fending off attacks on his own personal character and his administration. And, saboteurs within his administration, and now he knows how Washington works so much better. I would hope that once he came back, it could be like right off the go, tribunals and, full on make America quantum age agenda. I don't even like the word make America great again anymore. I know he's still using it, which I respect, but I've come to the realization that we can't just make America great again. We need to take America to the next level for the first time. And so I think once he comes back, that's going to be a good indication. And I'm not sure how quickly, this quantum leap in the American standard of living is going to happen. I've personally been waiting to buy a new home since 2020, and I've just seen the prices, quadruple and quintuple. And when you add in the cost of a mortgage, it's like 10 times what it actually should be. And so I'm eager, I'm eager for this to happen. But at the same time, looking at all the puzzle pieces that have been revealed to us, I'm just, really exercising my patience and being grateful that, I do still have a family and a house to live in and a space to have my business. Even though my business is literally up to the ceiling, as you can see, this is all my merch. And I just added this new shelving unit back here yesterday. And so I'm making use of what I have and appreciating it, and knowing that in the future, I will have a proper warehouse and like a separate room to do recordings, because this is a table we pack orders onto. I have to move all my junk and then move it back. So, there are some inconveniences, but just having that patience, having that appreciation, that gratitude, and knowing that better things are coming.
Oh, that's beautiful. Oh, God bless you, honey. That's so beautiful. I love that you showed us, the little workings behind the background.
The other side, yeah.
Wow, look at that.
Look at the mantis.
Oh my goodness, I saw that.
Yeah, well, I'm very lucky to have this room, for my business operation, and I have also one other storage rack in the unfinished basement. But we're always doing new artworks, and each poster takes up like a shelf, and so it's always expanding. And I think I need at least like a small warehouse space eventually, but we're making use of what we have for now.
Mm-hmm.
The ASEA is nice because I don't have to ship it myself. ASEA
Right.
Redux.
Right?
Yeah.
So Dylan's link for ASEA is in the description, and I also, in the beginning of the of our show, posted it and pinned it. So if you would like to check it out, please click the link. Also, call or text Jay or Hillis. That's our ASEA admin team. And people have asked, Hillis, how do we know you're connected with HVU? Well, We're paying him to be connected with us and do this for us so that we can focus on what we're good at and also helping kid get better. So, yeah.
Yeah, Jay helps us out. And as we're wrapping this up, I do want to tell everyone that my channel on Rumble is New Templars, which now that I'm sort of in between working on maps, I have more time to do videos, and I did like 4 videos last week, which is probably a record. And so I'm really inspired for making videos at the moment. It's like when I'm doing maps, I am not inspired at all for videos. I'm like very like focused inward. But when I'm in between maps, I'm like all about the videos. And so we just did one on vril energy, which really goes deep on an esoteric subject that is all about, you know, psychic and physical augmentation. And so definitely check that one out, and augmentation of our political systems as well. And of course, you know, deepstatemappingproject.com is the main website where you can get free downloads. Our most recent free download is how shall I say this for YouTube friendly? This detox protocol, which I worked with nurses and just did 2 big walkthrough videos all about that, of the dangers of that, as well as what people are doing to remediate it. So that's a free download. Definitely check out that free download. We offer it as a color or black and white, which is easier for people to print. And then, yeah, all the different posters and the actual store portion as well. So check it all out.
That's beautiful. And so if you don't mind, I'd like to also say that I put out a couple videos about how we can help kid get these IV ozones. My friend Diane, she said, do you remember when you went live with Jason Q because he was looking at having to go back to work because he had bills to pay and it wasn't being supported. And so Kid and I went live and we shared the need. And she goes, well, if people would help him, why would they not help Kid? Why would they not help your son? And I said, you're right. And I don't know why I didn't think about it, but I did put out a couple videos and let you guys know how you could help. The IV ozone is through a naturopath, so it's not covered by insurance. It's $155 per session and $210 when we start the IV light with it. And so the family has been very beautiful. We've already received $1,500 towards his treatments. So we thank you so much for that. And you can find our sundry of places, you know, PayPal, Cash App, all that stuff at the WordPress, but also on those videos, I also gave the name and the number of who's doing the IV, Dr. Conway, and he said you can call and give a donation to him, but it needs to be $50 or more so that it's not overwhelming his secretary. And they'll put it on Kid's account and start calculating how many of those will be ready for him. So
That's
thank you.
awesome. Yeah, everybody help the kid out. Ozone's the best. Now, is he doing just an ozone infusion, or is it the RHP where it's like in one arm and out the other?
The ozone infusion.
Okay.
Yeah.
The RHP is supposed to be more powerful, but I think even the infusion can help him, you know, in the short term as well.
Let me take a note. RHP?
That's
Okay.
when they put an IV in both of your arms, and your blood comes out one arm, goes through an ozone machine, and then goes back in the other arm. It's essentially ozone dialysis is another word for it.
Okay.
And
All
that's
right.
supposed to be the most powerful, but any ozone treatment is beneficial.
So what he did was after the bag filled up with Kid's blood, he took the ozone from the machine in these great big, what do you call those? The like, same with the shots, but really big ones. And then he would put it in the blood while he shook it so that it would all infuse. Kid's blood, when he started with it, was like a really dark maroon, almost black. And it took, he said, most people's blood will turn a rose, sort of pinkish color by the time he puts in 4 of those pure oxygen things. And it took him about 8 to 10 of them to get kids to turn color.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Well, sounds like he knows what he's doing.
Yeah. And so Satnam has been telling us, pour pure white light in kid. And now that I saw all of that, I mean, it's like, that makes so much sense to me, what she was saying. And she was getting that as a download. So each one of our family members, when you reach out and you share things with us, it is so powerful because we all are family. We all work together. And sometimes we're just in the middle of the crisis that we don't hear from our team, and so we need each other.
Mm-hmm.
And someone was saying, you need to have Dylan on our show a lot more. And so you're always welcome back, Dylan.
Thank you.
It's just a matter of finding the energy and the time between the two of us, because Dylan is very busy too. He's got his own family and his own ministry and his own work, and look at the maps he's creating. I mean, that just takes so. I mean, once you're like,
It's a relief when I'm not working on a map, because trying to keep up with the videos and work on a map, that's when I get a little too stressed out. Yeah, and I haven't even been meditating in the pyramid as much, lately, getting those downloads. But it's like when I need one, like for this show, my guides are right there to give it to me. So,
that's amazing.
and yeah, I probably do more shows on this show than anywhere else. So I enjoy talking to you guys, and it's all about high vibes up.
Right. Yeah. Candy, can you put Cash App info up? Can someone grab that or put our WordPress? Oh my goodness, this is really pulling from my brain.
Well, you can always adjust the link in the description after the video.
There you go.
Supports. Hit this link to support Kid.
Yeah. And so, if you go to the WordPress and services, then you'll see Kid and Candy underneath that, and then just click, and then we'll have all of our information there. Oh yeah, and there's this that I could put too. This is all of our links in one place. There you go. Okay.
Nice. Yeah, those link trees are very convenient.
Right.
I've been banned from Linktree, so I have 2 other sites that do the same thing, but...
Yes, you have, and all your links to one place is in our description as well. So you can find all of Dylan's stuff and support him as well.
Indeed, yeah, I appreciate the support. And subscribe on New Templars.
Mm-hmm. Please do. Yeah. I wonder if we have. I don't know. Let me take a look. Rumble. And then search New Templars, right?
Mm-hmm. And our symbol is a white background with a gold 8-pointed star. Or an 8-pointed star of arrows.
Oh, I see it. Follow. 12,000 followers. That's amazing.
Yeah, we have grown significantly since last fall, which is awesome.
Wow,
Really
that's
appreciate
beautiful.
the subscribers. It motivates me more to do a video. When we first got banned from YouTube and got relegated to Rumble and was like knocked down from 1,000 views a video to like 100, it was just, you don't feel like you're reaching as many people. You feel like you're talking to yourself. And so it helps a lot I'm satisfied with just even 1,000 views. I'm like, that's all the audience I need to feel like it's worth making a video. But anything after that, I'm like, awesome to reach more people. I think we're putting out really good content that's not just the news. It's basically you're following my deepest level of research for myself, my own personal research that also is benefiting everyone in the audience. And so, I just did that summary of the real energy, which is really exciting, and a lot of other videos in the works. And I'll repost this one as well. I do repost my interviews from other channels there.
Wonderful, wonderful. So, very exciting. I'm going to go back and watch this because I want to see everything that I missed and re-watch the information that was given, and then also listen to the light language that we both did. That was amazing.
That was really cool. Yeah, I was just like, when I was really getting in the zone towards the end, it's like that can go on for so long if we wanted it to. Maybe we do one video sometime that's like an extended light language, because there was so much information I wanted to get to in this video as well.
Did you get everything that you wanted to share in this video?
I mean, I have some more downloads, but that was pretty much everything. Yeah, I'm satisfied with this. Yeah.
Okay, awesome, awesome. So let's reschedule and get you on. Do we want to look at the schedule right now, or do we want to do that off the air?
Maybe off the air. Yeah.
Okay, all right. So you heard it right there, family. We'll get them back on the show, and we love you.
Yeah, and I hope Kid will be back too. Hopefully, we gotta get him better.
I'm actually considering moving all of this downstairs so he can join us. When I brought it up to him, he goes, "That's a lot of work." And I said, "Well, we're not looking at just having it down there for a week or two. I'm thinking you're going to have some recovery time, and it'll just be easier for you if you can just flip around on your bed and join us live there when you're able to, when you want to."
I had to move this whole setup upstairs when our basement was being reworked last winter, and so it's possible. It is a little bit of work, but it's just a backdrop.
For me, it's a big, heavy wood, like oak wood table, and then we have the light, the monitor, the computer. Because this is not a laptop. This is our.
Ooh, yeah.
Yeah. So a lot of wires, a lot of everything. So it would take two people, especially for the table. And then the roadie equipment and the stream deck.
All right. Well, it's a little bit more work than I thought.
I could go on.
Yeah. Well, we hope Kid will be back as soon as he can, because he brings so much to your channel. Such a profound wisdom and good energy, high vibe.
He does. He's amazing. We're so glad we didn't lose him. Yeah, it was touch and go
that's
there.
Out of the question.
Right? Yeah, you're not allowed to.
Not allowed. No, he's going to be the big recovery success story in a year or so.
Right?
And with that ozone treatment, ozone is said to be possibly a curative treatment for the main problem at the core of all of this, and so we'll see.
Yep, he is. Yeah, there's going to be amazing things to do with this, with everything that he's been through. And I was wondering, I was talking to the guides, and I just said, I don't really understand why, when we worked as hard as we did to get out of the system, because we were aware that we were thrown right back in. And now he's got all these pills, and I see that your hand is guiding it. I see that you're protecting him. I see that you're bringing healing to him. And eventually we'll be off this hamster wheel again, but the purpose, I would like to understand the purpose and what it's going to, what we're going to bring through it.
Well, I think every near-death experience, you come back with a lot more wisdom. So there's that.
One of the, we had a conversation. I had wondered this, but I wouldn't tell him that, what I was wondering, which was, well, he's having a lot of time to just lay there and to think about all the things. And he says to me, I'm sorry you have to do all this, Mom. I'm sorry. I'm sorry I can't help. And I sat down and I said, why are you struggling with this? Do not allow yourself to feel guilty because you see me working, because you see me tired, because you see me hurting. Don't. It's just, it's love. It's part of what we do for each other when the other one cannot.
Mm-hmm.
And he said, yeah. And then it started to lighten up. And he said, well, you know, it's just about when I could do it. And I would hear, kid, you could be doing the dishes. You could be washing the floor. You could be mowing the grass. But no, you just had to sit around and play your game and blah, blah, blah. And he was going on and on about this. And I laughed and I said, I was wondering if the team was talking to you about that. Oh, so you want to just lay there and not do nothing. We'll give you a reason to lay there. And he just busted out laughing. So it's been interesting, the little things that are coming up and the discussions that we're having, and in such a light form, you know, while the healing is happening physically, mentally, emotionally, spiritually.
Mm-hmm.
And you said you're becoming so much more aware, and isn't that part of what's happening?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah. So
You'll be a much stronger team after this.
Right?
I guarantee.
Right? Thank you. Thank you for saying that.
Not that you weren't strong before, but he's gonna be tapped in like he'll start doing his own light language.
That would be something.
Yeah.
All right. So, will you stay on with me? There was something that you wanted to share with me before we went off.
Okay, sure.
Yeah. And hang on. Mickey says, please let Kid know that everything happens as needed. Nothing is a coincidence. He needs to rest right now to be strong for what's to come. Y'all got this. Please give him a hug for me. Will do. And I know that comes from everyone's heart. I've seen many comments come by about asking for Kid. He's doing good. All right, so time, let's see, I've got to think. Put on the last video. Ending video. And here we go.
Bye, folks.
Probably not going to want to hear this, but I'm going to say it anyway. Always go with the choice that scares you the most, because it's the choice that's going to help you grow.
Wow.
I can't do negative today. Positive vibes, positive vibes.
Hey, best friend. Wait. To the person seeing this, I know you're tired. I know you're fed up and so close to breaking. But remember, you have strength within you even when you feel weak. Keep fighting, best friend.